All right, each week, John and I will take a look at who's in and who's out of the NFL playoffs based on the week that was. 1 week in the books. How many changes do we have? Let's start it off in the AFC East, John. I got the Patriots. Although all 4 teams in that division were a winner, do we think this division might be closer than we thought?
No. but I will say Buffalo is a lot better than I expected on an overreaction Tuesday. In the other direction, I mean, we all knew about the skill position talent. When we talked about the skill position talent on the Eagles, take a look at the Bills. Sammy Watkins, LaShawn
who didn't
McCoy,
have a catch.
Charles Clay. Yeah, right. But look at everybody else. Percy Harvin, who became, I think, the second player in NFL history with 4 50-yard touchdown receptions and 3 100-yard kickoff returns. That's how explosive he is. He's on the Buffalo Bills. And all of a sudden, if Tyrod Taylor can hold up, you might have 2 playoff teams. I'm not ready to say that.
Woohoo!
But
last week you had 3 from the north.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say it yet. But Buffalo is starting to creep in the conversation. Patriots are winning that division now.
All right, I got Patriots. You got Patriots in the north. I took Cincy last week. I'm staying with Cincy. They look very impressive in Oakland.
Yeah, they just took a leg up. I was wavering because there's 3 legitimate playoff level teams in the AFC North.
2 lost.
But Cincy was tremendous on the road against a bad team.
They're not a good road team, though.
Yeah, but, you know, people forget Tyler Eifert did not play last year. He's back.
I love Hill.
Love Jeremy Hill. Green is healthy again. Very, very explosive team, Cincinnati. Best team in the AFC North.
Did you switch?
No. I had 3 playoff teams.
Yeah.
And I'm going to switch in the wild card.
South, Indy, even though they lost.
Yeah. Indy going away. Bad division more than anything else. I between the Colts and the Vikings, I'm not sure who was worse in week 1. They can both make that argument. But the Colts, the division is so bad. You know, they're going to win 11 games by mistake, probably because they're going to go undefeated in the AFC South. So you can't go away from them.
Yeah, I got Colts too. In the West, I think last week we both surprised everyone and took Kansas City. They looked really good the other day, and Denver squeaks by with a win. I'm sticking with Kansas City. No reason to change there.
No reason to change. I think they're ready to take the leap. They look tremendous, and I think Denver's taking a step back.
In the wild card spots, this should be interesting here. You had 2 teams from the North last week. I think I might have had 1. I have none this week.
I'm leaving Baltimore in. They still played well on the road in a very difficult environment. I think they'll right the ship. I think they'll be able to make the postseason. But Pittsburgh's out after that season opening win. Just not enough on defense. And on the other side, do not like how Peyton Manning fits in with Gary Kubiak's offense. But that Denver defense was so impressive.
Yep.
They're going to be a wild card team. It's just obviously a step down from
Well, John, see, I went Denver and I went Buffalo because I like Buffalo's defense. I love what they did on offense this week, but defensively, they knocked down maybe the best offense in the AFC, maybe the best offense in the league, and they absolutely manhandled them. So I think Buffalo's defense is good enough to get them there. They got enough playmakers that they can simplify it, keep games close, ask Taylor to make a couple plays. They got playmakers to kind of run that style. So I got Buffalo in this week, and I bounced out, I believe, Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm still, to me, I mean, there's a reason Tyrod Taylor was Joe Flacco's backup. To me, it's still Flacco over Taylor, although the Terrell Suggs injury, I'm wavering a little bit. But I'm still keeping Baltimore in there.
All right, that's our who's in on the AFC side of things. Mike Gill, John McMullen. Which 6 teams will make the playoffs in the NFC? Do we have any changes over there? A couple changes already on the AFC side of things. When we come back, we'll have who's in on the NFC. So with our AFC, who's in and who's out. And on the other side, you'll find out which 6 teams we think will make it from the NFC. That's next. Our who's in and who's out continues next. A lot of people out here walking around. Most people have found the casino today, which was different from last week.
Yeah, not one question.
Not yet, anyway. Yeah. All right, who's in, who's out? We gave you our AFC side. These are the NFC picks. Let's start with the West, John. I got a change in the West. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I can believe it because Seattle wasn't that impressive. Cam Chancellor still an issue. And, Arizona's playing well. Carson Palmer's playing.
Oh, so you think I'm going Arizona?
I think you
San Francisco won last night, and so did St. Louis.
Yes.
But I did go Arizona.
Huh?
I like Arizona. And look, the big question for them was going to be, to me, defensively. Todd Bowles leaving, would they still be? I thought they were such an underrated, very good defense last year.
Tremendous.
And could they continue on that path? They look pretty good defensively on Sunday.
I think they were an underrated team with Carson Palmer at the helm last year.
He looked good, by the way.
He looked tremendous. I thought they were a legitimate Super Bowl contender until he went down. And if you think about it, they even played pretty well with Drew Stanton at quarterback. It wasn't until, obviously, Ryan Lindley and anybody who's down to the third quarterback is done. I like Arizona. You can make the argument they're the most talented team in that division. They're on top in the West.
I got them as well. In the South, interesting. Atlanta looked good. They look like a competent team, no doubt. That South has been up and for grabs the last couple of years. I'm sticking Carolina, though. They won. I like Carolina's defense, and I'll stick with Carolina there.
Still a bad division, but I like what Dan Quinn is doing with that defense. And I don't think Carolina can match up with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. I put the Falcons on top of the South.
By the way, keep in mind, and they mentioned this on the broadcast last night, they played for the division championship on the final weekend of the year, and they lost that home game against Carolina. All right, in the North, John, I don't think there's any reason to go away from Green Bay. They looked impressive. They won on the road. I thought the Bears showed better than I thought they were. Detroit didn't impress me all that much, and obviously, Green Bay just looked a step ahead of everybody else, even without Jordy Nelson.
And they always are. I mean, it starts with Aaron Rodgers. The Bears almost had to be better than people expected. But Jay Cutler is now 1-12 against Aaron Rodgers. It's not going to happen for them. Minnesota was supposed to be the key competition, and they just looked awful in San Francisco. So it's the Packers division, no question.
Yeah, in the East, last week I went Dallas. I believe you did as well. And I'm going to stick with Dallas right now. Obviously, this week here will be a big week in changing the possibility of changing that. But Dallas wins. I thought they, even though I thought both teams looked at best, I thought Dallas looked a little more prepared to win this week than Philadelphia did.
I thought both teams were unimpressive, but the Cowboys won, so you have to keep them on top. Looking long term, obviously, depending how long Des Bryant's going to be out, that's going to be an issue, so that could help the Eagles. But right now, as we enter week 2 of the NFL season, you have to say the defending champs. Ric Flair rules apply. To be the man, you got to beat the man. The Cowboys are still on top.
I agree. And look, you're right. With Des Bryant being out, this thing could change pretty fluidly next week. If Philadelphia wins that game, all of a sudden they look good, and Des is out. Dallas got a real tough stretch to start. The first 8 games for them are pretty tough. Yeah. They play Atlanta next week, and we'll see what Atlanta's made of. All right, in the wild card spots for the NFC, I'm not ready to bail on Seattle yet, so I got them in as one of my wild card teams. But I'll tell you, I was a little concerned with them. That Chancellor thing, those type of things kind of hang over a team, right? You get a guy who holds out and just kind of, it seems that becomes the story more than the team itself. And so that concerns me, but I'm going to stick with Seattle because, as you said, to be the man, you got to beat the man, and they are still the man. So I'm not going to push them out of the ring just yet. Woo! There we go. And my second wild card team, I'm going to stick with Philadelphia. I just think they do have enough talent to be, if they go 10-6, 11-5, that's a playoff team.
I agree with you on Seattle. Issues, and it goes far beyond Cam Chancellor. They've had to pay Russell Wilson now, had to pay Bobby Wagner. All of a sudden, that vaunted depth is going to start feeling it because you have to cut people on the back end of the roster. They're still a playoff team, though. You know what? Eagles out, 49ers in.
Whoa!
We all thought
if you told me, gave me any other team in the league, I probably would have picked somebody different.
We all thought they had the worst offseason in NFL history. And, we all forgot, even though they did, they still have a lot of players on that defense. And you know what? Jim Tomsula doesn't look like the Saturday Night Live sketch anymore. He looks like an NFL head coach. Still a lot of talent on the 49ers. They're in.
You know, look, and I'm not saying it's off the wall, because if you look around and say they look more impressive than New York, Washington, Chicago, Minnesota, obviously they beat them. They look more impressive than Detroit, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, and just about, everybody else. The only other team we would say, are they better than the Rams right now?
Yeah, I mean, this is like a political poll. It's a snapshot in time, and right now, the San Francisco 49ers are one of the best 6 teams in the NFC.
All right, there's your who's in and who's out for the NFC. John got San Francisco wild card in Seattle. That's 3 teams from the West now. 3 teams from the West. So he goes San Fran, Seattle, Arizona, Atlanta, Green Bay, Dallas. I go Dallas, Green Bay, Carolina, Arizona, Philadelphia, Seattle.